Things have just completely changed for the overall CS2 economy. If you want to talk about it, in the past video, we talked about how Steam community listings for cases were completely disappearing. We were down 10% in just a couple of days, and we're down nearly 20% from the start of the month in August. But it's not just that. The case prices are going up absolutely crazy. We'll get to that in a quick second. But most importantly, we got some potential new items on the horizon. Now, everyone's talking about Copenhagen right now. Not very new. In fact, it is the longest sale we've seen in history. I mean, it's absolutely insane that it's gone this long. It's longer than Paris. Paris was 106-ish days. This is longer than that. Absolutely insane. But inside of the latest update we saw on August 8th, we saw pretty interesting things, and it was not the jump boost thing that literally destroyed CSGO, but rather keychains. Keychains seem to be making a resurgence. Now, if you don't remember, a while ago we saw some leaked stuff about keychains being in the data files. Unfortunately, we really didn't see too much of that. We've also got a lot of other things that have been lost, like the Agents Pack and many other things, but the keychains have made a resurgence here, and they're now in a very interesting situation. They've got their own logo, and it seems like they've got a lot more things to back them up that they could potentially be coming very soon. Skinland is today's sponsor, and they're giving you a $10 bonus with code MasterShiny just to try them out. They're my go-to selling spot with the highest rate for sellers, and it's super easy to use. They're going to be currently the best option, paying over 100% when you use that $10 bonus. They're super trusted when it comes to transactions, and it took me just about 2 minutes for me to get my over $200 from this Emerald Jormungandr. They've got tons of different payout options, and they're also going to be having a super low fee buyer's marketplace. It's super easy, tons of deals cheaper than Steam, and tons of different deposit options. This deal won't last forever. Make sure you check them out today with that top link in the description. Now, going back to Copenhagen for just a quick second, it's actually pretty understandable why it's actually in the game. Now, unfortunately for us, Valve does have a significant amount of things on their plate. First up is going to be their brand new game Deadlock, which somehow is pulling in 17,000 players concurrently. Absolutely insane considering it's not even been released. But more importantly, Half-Life 3 is potentially on the horizon. Now, personally, I think it's extremely unlikely that Valve could even get to the number 3 other than when we're talking about the Chroma cases. But it's definitely interesting that Valve has a lot on their plate, and hopefully that means they're working on something for CS as well. And talking about the Chroma 3 case, or nearly any case at this point, has gone absolutely ballistic. If you want to look at the prices of some of these active duty cases to start, these are where we can see really what the market's doing right now. And look at them. Dreams and Nightmares case up significantly in the past month. Same with a lot of these other active duty cases. And that's not something we're talking about for an investment point of view, but rather the fact that people are interested in cases. And talking about those good cases for an investment, I'm talking about those cheaper rare cases. If you're not familiar, these are going to be cases that have gone up quite significantly in the past month as well. A lot of them, like your Danger Zone Prismas, Prisma 1, Prisma 2, obviously, are going to be in a very good position moving forward. Danger Zone's going to be a little bit interesting. That's because it doesn't seem like Danger Zone is actually going to be coming back into the game for CS2, at least not anytime recently, so you can go ahead and rule out a Danger Zone 2 case, at least at this point. Would make zero sense for them to add that back. But talking about these cheaper rare cases as an investment, overall, they don't really have too much competition going on for them. A lot of them, the supply is decreasing significantly quicker than I think a lot of people realize. And if we want to look at a lot of these listings, which is not a great indicator, but listings haven't been really too active inside of this area. We're getting down into the tens of 20,000s for a lot of these cases, which is extremely low for a lot of these rare cases. Now, obviously, that number dips a little bit lower when we're talking about these older rare cases. These are going to be like your Chromas, your Spectrums, your Revolvers, your Wildfires. A lot of these are in a pretty decent situation as well. Honestly, I'm a little bit surprised by these ones just because we have seen a fairly similar level of growth. A lot of these cases are usually a little bit more to lag behind. Obviously, they have a higher price point, so they need to go ahead and develop a little bit more for them to see that same percentage growth. A lot of them are still seeing a 10 to 15% percentage growth gain during this time period, which is a really good sign that overall people are heating up. The case unboxing numbers support this. They have been going absolutely crazy back up to what we were thinking about beforehand, which is about 1 million per day, and it looks really promising for the case market right now, but we haven't seen anything going on inside of the game update wise. Now, interestingly enough, this growth is not just for the case market. If we want to look at the sticker market, it's actually seen some pretty interesting developments. Now, unfortunately, we're not talking about Paris. I know there's a lot of Paris investors out there, but that time may, or honestly, it may never come. Let's look at these capsules for just a quick second. The supply on this thing is absolutely massive. Unfortunately, the unboxing numbers are just not there to support a strong data piece for an investment. But talking about my Stockholm and Antwerp investors, we got some pretty interesting data going on here. If we want to talk about Antwerp first, a lot of these capsules are back on an increasing trajectory over the past couple of weeks, potentially up about 15 to 20% for the month. Now, this is not anything crazy. Well, we know how much these capsules have dropped down, but it's a good sign nonetheless. Stockholm is also joining up on that list. If we want to talk about the Stockholm Legends, it's up over 25% in the past month. Now, unfortunately, the contenders has not really moved, but the challengers is up there as well, moving a decent amount. Now, this is really good to see the sticker market moving, because if we want to talk about these ones, these are the most developed we're going to be getting for these borderless stickers. If they're not making profit, there is zero chance that any Paris or any Copenhagen investment is really ever going to be worth anything if these two aren't. But the thing about Stockholm and Antwerp in this situation is most of them are just kind of recouping the losses they've had over the past couple of months. It's good they're going up, but it's important to realize that this is just most likely them getting that value back. Now, considering Copenhagen items might be hopefully on their way out very soon, there's one thing that I get a ton of questions about every single time, and that's going to be souvenir packages. Now, if you want to look at souvenir packages for Paris and now Copenhagen, you can see that they are under $3. Therefore, that might be a good investment opportunity. People look at them and the fact that you have to buy them for $3 and now they're sitting under that. Could that be value to be made? And unfortunately, the answer is always no. If we want to look at souvenir packages, there's really only been one to go ahead and succeed in the past years or so, and that's going to be the Dust 2 souvenir package, kind of. Now, if you want to look at the Dust 2 souvenir package, it blew up because the map got removed. It had a decently valuable item inside of it. That's going to be your gold arabesque, but unfortunately today it's been added back into the map pool, and therefore we really don't have a ton of value to be had with this souvenir package. You can see on a lot of the graphs it's dropped back down pretty significantly, and if you want to look at the overall graphs, it's the only one that's even peaked up a little bit. Most of them are still sitting at a $3 price point, and there's not a ton of investment opportunity here because no one really cares about them. Think about it. Why would you go ahead and open up a Paris souvenir package when you could do a Copenhagen? Why would you do a Copenhagen when you could do the next Shanghai major? It's just a recurring theme. You can look at this graph right here. This is the unboxings that happen for a souvenir package. They drop off significantly. Now, if we want to analyze trends that consistently happen over the lifespan of CSGO and now CS2, there's one that consistently comes up every single time, and that's going to be the fact that summer is usually a really bad time for CS investing. Now, if you want to look at my personal views, you can see this lines up pretty well with this. Obviously, it doesn't exactly line up one-to-one, but if we want to talk about the overall market, it's just the general interest of the game. During the summertime in North America, we really don't see a ton of things going on. However, we're now starting to approach the point where it's going to be tipping a little bit. We're going to be entering on into the fall and then the winter, and the winter is really where things start to heat up for the overall market, especially during that December to January to February time period. Usually a lot of people are really interested in the game, and we start to see the heat up happening there. As long as we can get through these next couple of months and the overall market doesn't really see any strong decreases, we're going to be in a very strong position moving into that peak period. Based off the current market, there's a lot of things that could possibly happen. The first one that a lot of people are obviously wanting is going to be an operation. Now, unfortunately, in the current market, as much as I do want an operation, I don't know how likely it's going to be. I honestly think the most likely outcome in the current moment is going to be a brand new package or a brand new case. We just talked about it, how in the previous video, a brand new package like the Anubis package was actually extremely valuable for Valve. 2023, 10% of all things opened were the Anubis package, in which Valve took no money away from their cases and keys, theoretically, and that's extremely important in this situation, that it might be very likely for them to go ahead and return and do that again. Otherwise, we do have some unreleased content. We talked about the brand new Agents pack, which was supposed to be there, brand new Pins Series 4. We really haven't seen that one either. Now, that leads into what specifically I'm going to be doing right now, and there's a couple big things. First one, you need to have some money on hand. If an update releases, you're going to be forced to sell, and the prices could be dropping significantly. The second thing is going to be making sure you're watching the market. Right now, we're seeing a lot of case movement. I'm watching this very purposefully to make sure that I don't miss out on any information that comes out that might change cases, including a brand new one. And lastly, staying patient. Right now, I don't believe is the best time to sell. It's going to be on the future. We've got brighter horizons. That's all I got. Thank you so much for watching.